broadcast from Denver, home of the Nuggets, the Pepsi Center, the scene. It's all about the Western Conference. That's where the action is today as the Denver Nuggets get ready to battle. Last game for them in Houston, a nice road win taking on the Rockets.
From distance, they shot it extremely well. They shot good in other areas, but really the advantage was from downtown behind the arc.
Now we'll look at Dallas's starting lineup. Haywood and Dirk make up the front court. Kidd and Terry on, they're manning the backcourt, and Butler. And for the Nuggets, Chauncey Billups and J.R. Smith are the backcourt tandem. Kmart and Nene are inside, and Anthony. Here's Nene. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Kevin, Rick Carlisle and I got a chance to talk just for a bit. This team's offensive forte is really just being smart with the ball and limiting their mistakes. And because of that, Coach told me that they don't need to force things at the opponent's end of the floor. They just need to wait for opportunities to present themselves and then take advantage of it when they do, Kevin.
Doris, thank you. Clark, is there anything that can really be done about shooting once the game begins?
I don't think so. Shooting is about confidence and form and technique and mechanics, but shot selection is something coaches will harp on.
And he makes the free throw. Brendan Haywood in his 10th season out of North Carolina making the move to Dallas. Clark. They acquired him from Washington last year when the Wizards were doing their cleaning house.
Yeah, they did, and I think Dallas got a terrific defensive center. I mean, he's a guy who can really protect the paint. They say he can be a little disinterested at times, but when he's animated and engaged, he's as good as there is at the defensive end of the floor at his position.
And there's Terry following the three-pointer by Carmelo Anthony. And the basket by Nowitzki.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with.
The Nuggets on offense. You hate to say it so often, but it is what it is. Another early exit in the playoffs last year for these Mavericks. They spent so much money. Another disappointment for them.
You know what? It just shows you how difficult it is to have postseason success, Kevin. It's really hard. Teams like the Lakers and Celtics have made it look easy in the past, but it's a difficult thing to do. I mean, heck, that's most teams are good, the Mavericks, but they run into teams that typically are able to have their number. They look great on paper, have a great regular season, but then in the postseason, the matchups get the best of them.
And so here is Denver. The Mavericks making the shot. Billups kicks to Martin. He dumps it off. Back to Billups. Pass to Anthony. Taken away by Kidd.
The team doesn't need that mistake. You got to be efficient.
And you were talking about Dallas in the postseason. How do you lose the label of being soft in the playoffs? And what can they do, Clark? You mentioned the word matchups, and that's what the playoffs are, matchups. But when you're labeled soft, that's a team label.
Yeah. And sometimes I think that can be unfair.
Yeah.
I think the Mavericks have been more of a finesse team, but in recent years they have shown some physicality as well. And sometimes your physicality just doesn't match up to your opponents. That doesn't mean you're soft. That just means you may not have as much as the team you're facing.
Carmelo Anthony, now a three-time All-Star. He's entering the prime of his career.
And Kevin, he's one of the league's premier scorers. I mean, he can do it inside and outside, and he's become the face of that Nuggets franchise.
He hits the second from the line. Here's Kidd. And Nowitzki backs in. Releases from 15. Nowitzki can't get that one to fall. They've trailed the entire game now. A chance to jump on ahead. Anthony against Butler. Oh, and a jam by Anthony.
That's a good look. Very nice look.
The Mavericks trailing. Last game matched up with the Clippers. A tough loss there.
This was an underperformance in many regards. They can't expect to win with that kind of lackluster effort.
Nowitzki, good. Here is Billups. He's coming off a 13-point game against Houston. The shot is off, and Dallas the other way. This the first chance to take a look at the Nuggets this season.
Well, you know, they beat these guys pretty good when they played last season. It's a real confidence booster going into this one.
Now here's Billups, following the miss by Jason Terry. Got that bucket in no time at all. Smith's got his first points of the night. Now here's Kidd, looking for his first bucket of the game. Smith against Butler, taken away by Anthony.
The interior D was lurking on that one.
You just can't overstate how important those matchups between the top conference teams are.
Well, there's always a lot at stake, Kevin. You want to get that good seed in the spring. Both these teams know every game is going to be a battle.
And these players think about that. They know about the seeding.
They sure do. They've got it in their mind.
Here's Kidd. The Nuggets getting the bucket. He's guarded by Billups. Outside Terry. Kept alive. Nowitzki. Excellent D there from Anthony.
He's had some problems finding the range here in this quarter.
Nene kicks to Anthony for three. And that's collected by Butler. Mavericks trailed by 3. Here's Kidd. Back to Butler. Pass to Nowitzki. Over Martin. Dallas, no good that time either.
Well, he's had a tough time shooting the ball today. His percentage has been way down compared to what he normally does. I think that's a big reason that they're down.
Now here's Billups. Got a piece of it. Terry outside. Butler on the way. Up high and down hard.
Plays like that are what makes this league so great. He's a special player.
I don't care if you're a fan of another team. You have to admire someone, Clark, who can make those types of plays. While there's a break in the action, let's take a look at the players who had the most steals in the league last season. You take a look at Kidd, 5th in the NBA. Very crafty player.
2 words for you about this guy. Fast hand. He was able to come away with the ball a lot last season. He found a way always.
The Nuggets making a switch here. Denver in the lead, coming into this having notched a win against the Rockets in their last game.
The job they did on the offensive side of the ball was excellent. Actually, it was great. They took care of every possession, getting a good distribution of their shooters, got a nice flow at the offensive end, and had their shooters, their key shooters, in a good rhythm early on.
The Mavericks with a chance to retake the lead. Outside Anthony. Smith outside. Let's go with a 3. That one falls coming off Anthony's feet. Smith's got his second bucket of the night.
Their defense is really struggling here in the first. I mean, they're lazy. They're not getting to the shooters. Their rotations are poor and miss time. They're expecting this team just to miss shots, and that's no way to play defense.
And the basket by Nowitzki.
His height is really an advantage on that medium-range jumper. He can just rise up and pop it right over the defenders and get a good shot every time.
Hits the bucket. Anthony's got 12 in the game.
Boy, this is fun to watch. This guy is putting on the show right now. He's making it look really easy.
Kidd passes to Terry. Butler, a screen on Smith. Terry kicks to Butler. Throws it down off the nice pick.
That's how you do it. That was a nice setup. I mean, the pick was in the right place, right where it should have been.
Followed the strategy that is mapped out on the sideline. Those timeouts mean a lot for these guys.
They do.
Now here's Kidd, and stolen by Butler.
They certainly haven't been very good here in the quarter in regards to protecting the ball, Kevin.
Here's Billups. Just over 3 minutes left in the first. Back to Anthony. Nene with the screen on Terry. Anthony's shot is off.
Tough D forces him to miss it at the rim. You won't see that very often.
Looking at the Nuggets, 34 wins in the Western Conference for this team last season. Pretty impressive considering how good the West is.
I'd agree with you there. It's about what they did the year before, too. I mean, you can pretty much chalk up these Nuggets for 34, 35 wins in the conference year to year.
And now our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, has some info for us. Doris, take it away.
Well, Kevin, Carmelo Anthony gave back to his alma mater, Syracuse, in a big way recently. He provided a huge grant to help them build a practice facility for the men's and women's basketball teams. It bears his name, the Carmelo K. Anthony Basketball Center. Between that and helping them win a national title, Carmelo Anthony has certainly been a great champion for the Orange Men.
No doubt about that. Thank you, Doris. At this point, the teams in the West pretty much know, Clark, I think what the Nuggets are all about. Game plan-wise, since they had a distinct style for a while now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, they're going to try to get to the line and come inside on you. They want to draw fouls. They want to win the free throw game. It's just that it's one thing to know what they're trying to do. It's a whole other thing to stop them, and that's what makes them a potent team.
Clark, thinking back to Carmelo Anthony in his collegiate days, he helped lead the Syracuse Orangemen to the school's first NCAA championship back in 2003.
Yeah, in that championship game, he was the most outstanding player. It was really fun to watch. An inside-outside threat, had a great season, and it definitely put the basketball world on notice that this young man had game.
For the Nuggets, Chris Anderson is checked in for Nene. Martin comes in for Al Harrington. And it's Lawson in for Chauncey Billups. The Mavericks making a switch here.
Set it up.
Here's Butler. He's coming off a 10-point game against the Clippers in Los Angeles. Dallas again missing. And Melo has had an impact for the Denver Nuggets. They were one of the worst teams, Clark, in the league when they drafted him.
Yeah, and since he's joined the team, Kevin, they've never failed to reach the playoffs. That's pretty impressive. You know, they've made it as far as the conference finals one year.
And so here is Denver following the shot by Caron Butler. Just 2 to shoot. And it's Smith missing. The Mavericks leading. And Butler backing him in. Shoots. Money on the 10-footer. Butler's got his third bucket of the night. Kid with it.
They haven't adjusted to the defensive intensity they're facing, and it's resulted in far too many turnovers here. I mean, just in this quarter alone, they've been throwing it all over the gym.
And it's the Nuggets with the ball. The Mavericks making the shot. Lawson kicks to Martin. Smith pass to Lawson. The dump off. It's tipped. Here is Lawson. Not on the scoreboard yet. Back to Martin. Lawson dishes to Martin. And almost gets it to go, so he'll shoot 2 here.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. You got to stop the layup there. Make him earn his points from the line.
First free throw is good. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Here's Kidd. 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Outside Butler. Outside Terry. Kenyon Martin comes up with the rebound.
Right now, he's in a bit of a funk. I look for them to look at other options on offense.
Here's Anthony, and there's the dunk.
He's getting the highlight reel play of the day for that one. Now that was a dunk.
He certainly put a little something extra into that slam.
Little added pizzazz.
Some great action here as the first quarter concludes. Mavericks lead by 1.
Well, they're in attack mode now, Kevin. Every time they get the ball, they're coming right at you, looking for contact, and looking for buckets right at the 10.
The NBA here on 2K Sports.